Hello internet friends. This week I am really excited for this video. I've been thinking about this a lot and like how could I put this video together? I feel like it's been done over and over again, so I was like, I don't know man, what can I add to the table? But I do get this comment a lot that like, Laura, you find some really epic stuff at the thrift store. And yeah, I think like in this case, I'm gonna let myself have a big head about it and I'm gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna pat myself on the back. I do, like I find good stuff when I go to the thrift stores. You know what, I am really proud of this. And today I'm going to expose all of my secrets, so you can too. I feel like I kind of sound like an infomercial or a pyramid scheme right now, but like seriously, these are good tips. I do just want to say though real fast, I have been a thrifter for a decade now. I have been a vintage seller for the same amount of time. In the last 10 years, I think I've walked out of a thrift store empty-handed maybe 3 to 4 times. And I think all 3 to 4 times I was on my lady plague and I was just like really pissed off the world and I was like, I don't feel like thrifting today. Thrown in the towel. So I think I have pretty solid excuse as to why I walked out empty-handed those times. But that being said, I still think I have some really good tips for you guys today. Without further ado, let's talk about how I always find the really good stuff at the thrift stores. I'm gonna start out with some really basic tips, just kind of go over like the, you know, the nitty gritty. This is like the preview before the ride, like what to expect. And then we're gonna go out thrifting, okay? Leave it to me to make like a Disney theme park reference in a YouTube video that has nothing to do with Disney. First tip, straight out of the gate, learn brands. Don't go in without a knowledge of like at least a handful of brands. I'm gonna say pick like 5 brands that you are coveting and go in with that knowledge. For example, with me, I love Sandy Liang and I love Ganni. I would say I found maybe 3 or 4 pieces of those brands throughout my thrift career. It's not like I'm finding them every single day, but because I like that umbrella and blanket of style, I do find items that look so similar to that pretty much every single time I go thrifting. And then you can go even further and start getting to know designers, having some kind of fashion knowledge behind it. I know that sounds pretentious, and I'm not trying to be pretentious. We're talking about the second time around for these garments, but at the same time, I think having some kind of level of respect or knowledge or whatever you want to call it around these designers, there's nothing wrong with that. They create beautiful pieces, they create artwork, and I think having that sprinkled in your brain when you go into the thrift store, it just empowers you to kind of find stuff that fits in that niche that you really enjoy. Find your thing. Find the clothes that speak to you and start learning about those brands. Best way to do it. Take your time in areas that you like and that you need. So for me, I hate shoes. I really do not enjoy thrifting shoes. So I try and make it a point to go over there first and just skim through it. 9 times out of 10, I won't even get a cart. I just walk over there and I'm like, you know what? I wear a size 5, sometimes even a 4. So for me, most of the time, there's like 4 pairs of shoes at the thrift store. Sometimes another good example is going by seasons. If it's wintertime and the area that you live in, probably don't spend that much time in tank tops, but like maybe skim through because you never know what you're gonna see. You never know what you're gonna find. And I don't mean like skim through meaning like every single item. I mean skim through and be like, ooh, that looks like it's silk. I'm gonna take that out and I'm gonna see what it is. Sometimes you can find your best pieces that way. If I'm looking for denim, I'm gonna spend probably a good half hour looking through denim jeans. I know to some people that might sound alarming because you're like, whoa, I thought we were gonna be in and out of this store in a half hour. If you want the good stuff, that's probably not gonna be the case. I would say at least dedicate an hour and a half to 2 hours, maybe longer. Spend time in other sizes if that's what you're looking for. I know a lot of the tips and tricks always say to like look through everything and touch everything in the store, but I honestly don't think that's very logical if you're looking to not overexhaust yourself, okay? Mentally and physically. Just recently, for example, I really desperately needed shorts. So I was going through, I just moved to Florida, by the way, so like hot weather, that's why I was looking for shorts. I know it's a winter time right now, so it makes absolutely no sense. I made it a point to every single time I went thrifting, I looked through every single pair of shorts that I could get my hands on. I went through every size, it didn't matter. And here's why. Vintage sizes are so different. These shorts are a perfect example. These shorts are size 11, okay? They fit me probably like a size 5, I would say, but they were the style that I was going for. I wanted like baggy Frankie shop style denim. Denim sizes don't make any sense. Every country does it differently. Every decade did it differently. So take your time in the areas that you're specifically looking for. And sometimes sizing up in general is the way to go. For me, I like oversized clothing. I like a baggy, relaxed fit. Okay, my next tip is probably my personal favorite tip. And that's because when I did my quality clothing video, I feel like you guys have seen me go on this journey already. Quality clothing, researching that blew my mind. But mall brands are where it's at. Firsthand and secondhand. Banana Republic, 100% cashmere sweaters are in abundance at the thrift stores. You can always find this. Some of the best quality clothes stashed away in the thrift store are mall brands. J. Crew, perfect example. Plus, not to mention, most of these items from J. Crew retailed for $100+. So if you're thrifting J. Crew, you're getting a solid deal. I feel like this point has been made all across TikTok and Instagram and whatever. The men's section, don't skip on it, but I think there's a specific reason why not skipping on the men's section is so important. And again, this goes back to my journey of like figuring out quality clothes over the last couple of years. Men's clothing in general just tends to run better. It's just better all around. Quality, you name it, it's there. It's built into menswear. So to me, going over to the men's section and finding a t-shirt versus going over to the women's section, finding a t-shirt, men's is always gonna win. Next tip is to wander around if you have the time. I know after spending like 2 hours in the store, you're just like totally burnt out, you're ready to go home, you're ready to call it a day. But if you have that little bit of energy, I highly, highly, highly recommend just like taking a couple casual laps, just wander around. I'm probably gonna come up with like 20 bajillion more tips, so let's go thrifting. For me, the 3 places that I don't like thrifting are shoes, purses, and tank tops. So I'm gonna do those first, and I'm gonna do those without a cart because it gives me a little bit more movement. I can run through it quicker, it doesn't feel as cumbersome, and I can just get it done. I can still find the good stuff, you know? Straight out of the gate, I'm going for the things that are trending right now that I know I want in my wardrobe, and that's loafers. These are pretty good. I like the tassel detail on them, but I actually want something that's a matte finish, so I'm gonna skip those. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Whoa. Okay, these are good. These, holy smokes, these are so good. Oh my gosh, these are vintage too. Well, okay. Here we go, people. We're getting a cart already because we're finding the good stuff. I like this, but this type of fabric, especially at the thrift store, it's gonna snag. This is another piece that I would like pull out, see what's going on with it. It's cute, but not quite there. If it was an actual top, I would be like, heck yeah. But just to cover up, not really my style. We're just feeling fabrics. We're just looking through, skimming, seeing what's going on. Easily my favorite area, dresses. If I had 10 minutes in a thrift store, the first place I would go to is dresses. I would spend probably the entire 10 minutes here. One of my favorite places to thrift is intimates and sleepwear because you can find some really hidden gems in here. Some really good vintage pieces. I mean, some of my best finds literally came from sleepwear. And this, I mean, this looks like something straight out of Sandy Liang right now. I know I talk about her literally all the time in every video. Like, this is so good. It's $16.99, but it's half off today. So, I don't know, man. She's a pretty good one. Also, uniforms is another really good example because you never know what kind of like jumpsuits are mixed in. Menswear uniform section is always a treasure trove. I've found some really good vintage like bomber pieces, some really good jumpsuits, like flight suits. I mean, you can't go wrong over there. This is where vintage is always going to be unmatched. This is Liz Claiborne. Linen cotton blend, so you know it's going to be good quality. It's not going to loosen up. It's not going to, you know, get like baggy or anything like that. But like, look at that. It's such a good neutral. Such a good neutral. And it's got pockets. I mean, you really cannot go wrong with something like this. Personally, I think skirts is where you can have the most fun right now because there's all those outfit formulas with like the small top, big skirt or like small skirt, big top kind of thing. So I feel like the possibilities are endless. Like you get a long skirt, you can have fun. You get a short skirt, you can also have fun. This is yet again another perfect example of vintage just always coming through. Always.
You got 100% linen skirt. So beautiful, so on trend too. Like linen, come on now. For $6.99, you really can't go wrong with that. I'm not gonna get it personally because I have so many of these in my collection, but again, just another perfect example. Now, I love finding collaboration lines. This is the Balmain H&M collab, and even though it's from years ago, like this is still such a good quality skirt. I'm not gonna skip on that one. That is beautiful. And jackets, I cannot argue enough. Look for vintage. You're always gonna get something unique, and it's always gonna be on trend too. Like trust me, okay? Especially the way trends are going these days. Like vintage just keeps coming in and in and in. Like you're never gonna go wrong. So this classic Wilson's leather jacket, it has stood the test of time. This is a Gap sweatshirt for $6.99, 100% cashmere. You cannot go wrong, trust me. Another great example, Banana Republic, 100% cashmere. Beautiful sweatshirt, beautiful. Also, obviously, don't feel like you have to get this stuff all at once. Like, I do this for a living, so pace yourself. If you're looking for like an entire thrifted wardrobe, don't do it all at once. Get it piece by piece. You're gonna feel so much better and so much more confident with the pieces that you find if you like slowly build it, okay? Don't feel like you have to do these crazy hauls every single time. Men's section is another one that's just so easy to just like hone in on what it is that you're looking for. If you're looking for a striped button-down polo, it's so easy to know exactly where they are. Boom, one right there. Boom, another one. That's a good one if it didn't have a hole in it. My personal favorite so far though, this one, vintage. This is so good. Like white cuff, white collar. I mean, come on now. Might actually try this on for myself because I kind of dig it. Brooks Brothers, I've said this in the past, Brooks Brothers is such a good brand. And it's always cheap at the thrift store. Let this be your reminder to always shop in the men's section. It's so good. 100% wool, menswear, vintage label, Gap. 70s cardigan, so good. Look at that label. And then a cute little Mickey sweatshirt for myself. And this is from the Disney parks, so you know that was expensive. A few things that I look for when I'm going through my stuff. I feel like I could do an entire video on this. Look for pilling, obviously. That's enough that I can like sweat or shave off. That'll be fine. But I always say, look at the armpits. Like just take a look at that. Make sure there's no inside staining or anything like that. Stuff that you can't remove. This is easily one of the best finds of the day. Keepsake the label. And I just looked up pictures of it on the model and it is beautiful. That's like one of the best tips out there is always look up pictures. See how they modeled it and then go from there.
All right. We are back. And I already had to put on this Keepsake the Label blouse because it is so freaking good. Keepsake the Label is a brand that is carried by Revolve, so I automatically knew this is an expensive top. Even without a label in it, I think I still would have picked it up because of the sleeves. Can we talk about these sleeves? Puff sleeves, the details. And if you want to talk about building outfits, I think we have two different options here. We can go for a little bit more of a dress down casual vibe, or we can go for I'm going in for the job interview of a lifetime and I want to look like $1 million. Let's start out with more of my personal vibe and go with the dress down casual look. Before I put these on though, I just want to show you guys the label. These are Liz Claiborne. I mean, never in a million years would I think I would be buying up so much Liz Claiborne, but I'm sorry. The quality on these pants, again, mall brand, top tier, top notch. You can't beat it. If I had the time and the patience, I would slick back my hair and do the whole clean girl look. But this by itself, like, such a good look. This seriously looks like $1 million. Value on this, I think I spent a total of $18. That's solid. That is solid. H&M times Balmain, like, how often are you gonna find that? Some of these collabs sell out so fast and they still hold their value because people like the style. Like if you are a fan of Balmain, then you're gonna be a fan of this skirt. Some people might feel like this is a little bit dated, and I don't know, I kind of lean in both ways. I think when you find stuff like this, like you know it's gonna come back around. It's like the Hervé Leger, or however you say it, those dresses, they kind of go in and out. It's okay to keep it in your wardrobe, especially if you're spending like $400+ on a dress, sometimes up to $1,000. you're probably gonna keep that dress. It is something that like the style will go in and out. Sometimes it's gonna look cheap and sometimes it's gonna look like $1 million. This was fun because this is trying to take a not so modern style skirt, which is really sad because I think this collaboration came out in 2016. So it's really not that old, but it just like the style does kind of feel a little dated. But I think this is a good way to remind yourself, first and foremost, that something from 2016 is not old and you can still style it up with current style trends and make it feel and look modern. So one of the big movements right now is clean girl aesthetic, but then also kind of chunky, like utility style vibes with a lot of the current clean girl, minimalist, like marriage trends, if that makes sense. Kind of pairing it with things that feel a little bit more on style. You have the Frankie shop. I have this was thrifted. I don't know if it's real Frankie shop. It very much looks like the Frankie shop t-shirt. You have a very like chunky style necklace. This one always gives me Sandy Liang vibes. And then puffer bags. This, I feel like, is such a trend right now, such a big movement with puffer bags. I feel like you could see someone out on the streets in New York City wearing this exact look and feel like it still fits in the current trend cycle. And all of this is to just point out that when you buy stuff at the thrift store, it's always gonna be out of season, it's always gonna be out of cycle, but there are always ways to bring it in and make it relevant again, okay? Don't look at clothes as if they're just like throwaway because something from 5 years ago is no longer in fashion. Just remember, vintage seller over here, everything comes back around. Everything. Perfect example is the vintage trench coat. This right now, you're seeing it everywhere and it is back and better than ever. And it is so easy to find at the thrift stores. So easy. Tell me you aren't seeing these everywhere. While I'm trying to put together a look for this next skirt, I just want to reveal another one of my hacks. It is so simple and so easy and just so like duh moment for anyone. But whenever I find something that's maybe like a little bit too difficult to style in my automatic brain, I always just Google the color, like Google, tell me what, I should say Alexa, tell me what colors best go with da-da-da-da-da. In this case, light purple. I'm like, what do I pair with light purple? It's telling me green, yellow, those are all good colors to go with. Nike t-shirt over a long mini skirt. This is literally my favorite looks right now, is the oversized baggy t-shirts over a skirt or a slip dress, you name it. I don't know what it is about that. It's just like such a comfy casual vibe. One of my favorite tips that I've seen lately is from the Olsen twins themselves. Noticed whenever they wear baggy clothes that just like they start to lose their form in it, show your elbows. The moment you show your elbows, boom, suddenly the look just comes together and doesn't feel, it just doesn't feel as like baggy. You don't feel as lost in it. Okay, tell me this look is not like an entire vibe. This flight suit was perfectly tailored to fit like such a slouchy, like someone took it and hemmed the pant legs so that they stay like this. Like, who would get rid of this? It's so freaking good. And then you pair it with a 1970s cardigan. I mean, this whole look is just, this is streetwear New York right here. This is literal perfection. It's all thrifted, man. I mean, I'm just gonna take a minute also to show you guys just the jumpsuit by itself because thrifted. Not this last trip though, I do want to add that in. This was what came from the trip that we just went on. This like perfect 1970s cardigan. This is like the Marilyn Monroe cardigan. Like that's what I always think of when I find pieces like this. Like it's not the exact Marilyn Monroe cardigan, hers was very different, but like still that style, that like wheelhouse, if you will. Okay, you guys, that is it for today's video. I feel like I look like a chaotic mess, but that is only because it is like 85 degrees outside. And so wearing stuff like this is just not practical for me right now, but I am still so happy to be finding stuff like this. I got so anxious thinking like, I don't know if I'm gonna find winter clothes anymore. And let me just tell you, I like nonstop and finding it. Also, I just hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had so much fun making this. I always get a little nervous making like how-to or tips videos because I personally, like, this is just a me thing, but I feel like I'm always yelling at people. I'm like, do this, you have to do this. And I never want to come across that way, but I just feel like when I get in my zone, I get so excited about it and so just like, you need to see this too. So sometimes I try and like dial back my energy. I'm just such an advocate for like good quality, like good pieces. And I don't want you to feel like your wardrobe has to be 100% thrifted. You can still find really good stuff in, you know, regular retail stores. But like, let me just tell you, let me advocate for the fact that like, if you have enough time and you can dedicate maybe a couple hours a week to going thrifting, you can build such a good wardrobe and such good like standout pieces that just will be that wow factor, you know? It'll be that feeling of like people stopping you and being like, where'd you get those clothes? And you're gonna be able to say, it was thrifted. And you're gonna hate yourself saying it, but at the same time, you're gonna feel so elevated and so like accomplished, I guess, in a way. So yeah, thrift if you have the time. I cannot stress that enough. And I hope these tips serve you well. And hopefully you can go out there and find some really good quality stuff. So thank you so much for watching. If you're new around here and you liked this video, I might have a couple extra for you right here and right here. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.